I'm Dr. John Torres with NBC News. I'm the medical correspondent over there, and I get the privilege of introducing these products today. This is the Consumer Technology Showcase. Besides being a doctor, besides being on TV, I'm also a tech geek, and I love these types of devices, so this is fantastic. And here's your lineup for this morning, or for this afternoon. Fantastic devices, some of them helping children, some of them helping all of us. All of these are fantastic. We're starting with the Aflac Duck. That's Aaron Horowitz. We're going to Care and Wear with Chat Rasden. We're going to do the Echo Stethoscope, Connor Landgraf. The AHISA Digital Records, Wendy Leonard. The Not Impossible Lab Vibrio Health. This is with Daniel Belker. And the UV Sense Patch with Steve Zhu. So first off, we're going to have Aaron Horowitz up here with the Aflac Duck. I think you guys will be impressed with all these devices and the technology that's coming that's going to help patients over the next couple of years. So Aaron?
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for having me. My name is Aaron Horowitz, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Sproutel. We're a patient-centered research and development workshop focused on making healthcare playful. And what that means is we work with kids, their parents, and doctors to collaboratively design technology using an empathy-driven design process. And I got into doing this type of work, this is me at my elementary school graduation, because as a child, I was diagnosed with human growth hormone deficiency. You can tell I'm quite short. And so I gave myself an injection every day for 5 years. I actually never told anybody about that until I was in my 20s. And that's a feeling I don't think any child should have to have. So in college, we got our start as a company from a really interesting observation. We saw children with type 1 diabetes were injecting their teddy bears. We said, why the heck are they doing this? They were using imaginative play to act out everything that was going on in their lives. We created this little teddy bear called Jerry. They can take care of, feed foods, give insulin to. And Jerry's now in the hands of about 10% of children newly diagnosed with type 1 diabetes around the globe. But today, I have more in my bag of tricks. I'm here to talk to you about what we've been working on for the past year, which is called My Special Aflac Duck. He is a robotic companion for children who are newly diagnosed with cancer. And we developed the duck to bring comfort and joy to them. And we worked over 12 months with 100 families and 35 doctors to bring the duck to life. And everything that the duck does is designed because of some problem that we observed families were having. These are actually some of the kids that we tested with. So I'll turn the duck on. Everybody say hello. So as you can see, the duck is totally responsive. It's got sensors all around that respond as I touch him. So one of the first things that we learned is that kids lose so much control throughout their chemotherapy treatment that they gravitate towards play where they're in control. So the most requested toy at the Cancer Center is Legos, because kids get to build their world. So you can put this chemo port right on the duck's chest, acts a little bit surprised, and then it has a comforting heartbeat. And kids can nuzzle with this as they receive their treatments. So they get control over when their ducks get chemo. We also learned it's really hard for these kids to express their feelings. They're as young as 3. And so we developed a whole series of feeling cards, things like silly, afraid, mad, and when you tap them to the duck's chest, it expresses that emotion. So when a doctor comes into a child's room and says, hey, how are you feeling today about getting chemo? That's kind of stressful. But now they come in and they say, how does your duck feel today? And kids answer kind of using the duck as a proxy for their emotions. And there are so many things that the duck does. I'll just demonstrate a few more. One of the other things we learned is that it's so noisy in hospitals. Kids also refer to hospitals as prison. And so we wanted to think of ways of kind of at least mentally transporting them out of the hospital. So this is called the soundscape card. You tap it on the duck's chest, and all of a sudden we're transported into a tranquil stream. And therapists use this in what's called distraction therapies. So right before a really scary or stressful procedure, they say, hey, what animals are you hearing? Where do you think you're going to? And so every single thing I showed you is because of a child inspired us to create it. And matched with all of these sort of insight-driven features, we also needed to make something that could be used in a medically sensitive environment. So we actually ended up filing 4 patents, and one of which is on the first ever robot with a removable fur, because this needs to be washed and sterilized. So this can be thrown right in the washing machine. An hour later, the kids have their duck that they can use, especially for children who are in the bone marrow transplant ward where they're in isolation for about 100 days. So what's next for the duck? We developed this in collaboration with AFLAC and did all of our research at the AFLAC Cancer Center, which is part of Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. We're currently doing a study there now to measure the effect of the duck on distress for children and their families. But for me, what I'm most passionate about is giving this smile to the face of children with cancer. This is Taryn. She's one of the most incredible testers who we had the opportunity of working with. We actually saw her complete her treatment throughout her testing. And I'm honored that AFLAC has made a philanthropic commitment, and they're actually donating one of these ducks to every child newly diagnosed with cancer in the US. So in September, we start delivering the first ducks all across the nation. We're going to be going in person to the hospitals and delivering them, and I couldn't be more happy. So I'll have a few ducks and a bear out wandering around with me. If anybody wants to play, come tap me on the shoulder. Thank you so much.
Do you guys just want to come up now? Sure. Yeah, you can come. So you're going to stand. So Goran, you'll go. Aaron's multifaceted. So my name is Chat Razdan, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Caregivers. 4 years ago, I had friends and family diagnosed with cancer, receiving chemotherapy through a PICC line. A PICC line, as you can see, is an IV tube that sticks outside of your arm for the duration of the treatment and connects to your heart. The latest technology to keep the PICC line in place was this ugly-looking tube sock or stretchy mesh gauze. I saw that and saw my loved ones struggling with cancer and wearing this and thought there's got to be something better. Taking a step back, I kind of realized whenever you look in the healthcare industry, everything's always been focused on function, and not on how it looks or how it makes you feel. And so we created our ultra-soft antimicrobial PICC line cover. Over the last 4 years, we've had the opportunity to help numerous loved ones, whether they're in the hospital, going to their prom with a sleeveless dress, or even trying to support their favorite sports team. As we were developing the PICC line covers, we took a step back and realized whenever you go to the hospital, everything that you've been given is a reminder of what you're going through. Regardless of whether it's cancer, diabetes, a broken bone, or even tennis elbow, everything's always been focused on function. And we wanted to create products that help patients feel like themselves. And so we have created the new healthware industry. Our comprehensive design thinking approach works with a three-pronged attack. We work with clinicians to make sure that all of our products are medically superior to anything else out on the market. We work with patients to make sure that these are products that patients actually want to use. And finally, we work with fashion and manufacturing to make sure that we're including the latest trends and technologies. And so our products are designed to offer patient solutions that are stylish, effective, and comfortable. Our first product, which we thankfully have a number of models here to show off, is an antimicrobial PICC line cover. It's machine washable. The antimicrobial treatment actually regenerates whenever you put in the washing machine. The mesh window allows for breathability and visibility to the PICC line site. And then finally, as I alluded to earlier, you can wear a lot of different colors and designs. We actually have all the rights to Major League Baseball and the NBA, so you can wear your favorite teams on your sleeves. Our next products are our antimicrobial chest access shirts. These provide a zipper opening that allows access to your port or central line. These also are machine washable. What I'm wearing and also what Kim is wearing is our collaboration with Oscar de la Renta. So as many of you may or may not know, Oscar actually passed away from cancer in 2014. And so this has dual zippers on both sides to allow for chest access with snaps so you can button up and stay warm while getting your treatment in an infusion center, which are always really cold. These also are machine washable and reusable. Thank you. Our next product is the new patient gown. This was a collaboration that we did with Parsons School of Design, 9 hospital systems, as well as designers such as Donna Karen and Kay Younger. What makes this so special is you have chest access without exposing your entire body. The kimono-style offering makes you feel a little better. You have IV access on the sleeves on either side with snaps that open and close. And then you have a telemetry pocket to be able to put your health monitoring device in there. And then if you turn around, you can no longer see her backside in the hospital. If you're in a bed, it is fully reversible, and that's why it has the V on the back as well, so you can wear it like the traditional gown. Our most recent launch was a collaboration for mobility gloves. We were able to work with Lucy Jones and designed gloves that have special padding and grips designed for the wheelchair, crutches, walker, etc. It also has a unique way to get your hand in there with a zipper opening that opens and closes, so you can actually get a glove in with one hand without having to use the second hand. And then, most importantly for all the smartphone addicts in the room, it's smartphone conductive, and so you can still text away or Instagram yourself listening to me right now. Today, we've had the opportunity to work with some of the world's leading hospital systems. We work with hospitals such as the VA, HCA, Cleveland Clinic, Mayo Clinic, University of Virginia, and others. We're always looking to help more patients, and our goal is to ultimately help every single person, regardless of what you're going through, whether it's cancer, whether it's diabetes, whether it's a broken bone. We're on a mission to change the world, and we really appreciate your taking the time to listen to us. And we'll be out at the back so you can see our products, take pictures with them, etc. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you to our models as well.
Hi everyone, how's it going? My name is Connor Landgraf. It's an honor to be with you all and show you what we're working on at Echo. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Echo, and we're a cardiac monitoring company based in Berkeley, California. Something that probably most people who aren't clinicians or physicians don't know here in the audience is that the vast majority of physicians don't know how to use this device, even though it's one of the oldest tools in medicine and probably the most ubiquitous and most used medical devices. According to a recent study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, of 435 medical residents, 80% of them could not accurately diagnose common heart conditions with an acoustic stethoscope. And it's not that physicians are lazy or not talented, it's that it's a really, really challenging thing to do, to hear the minute differences between a healthy heart and a diseased heart, or healthy lungs and a diseased lungs, based upon acoustic pattern matching and trying to remember what you learned in med school and trying to build that database of comparisons in your memory. Human memory and human auditory capabilities are rather fallible and are not the best way to do it. So at Echo, the goal for us was to build AI-powered technology that could help physicians better understand heart sounds and lung sounds and give them the capability to interpret those sounds in radical new ways. So let me show you how this works, actually. This is one of our products. And this is actually a digital stethoscope and EKG that's combined and put into one device. The silver sensors here are the EKG electrodes, and then the center portion here is the acoustic sensor. And it's pretty easy to do, and I'll actually test this out with you on stage here, and I'll show you what my heart looks like. So I put it on here, and you can see my EKG. My heart rate is a little bit elevated. I wonder why. And then on the bottom side, we're seeing the valves in my heart closing. And what's pretty cool is that we're combining EKG technology with acoustic and heart sound technology for basically the first time ever. This is the first mobile device to capture both of those data streams simultaneously. And what that means for us is that we can understand how the heart muscle is firing and how the rhythm of our heart's looking, and then how the blood is flowing through the heart and how the valves are closing in response to that. So it gives us a 360 picture of how that patient's heart is functioning. But what's really exciting to us is the ability for us to combine this in with AI and then with a platform for clinicians so that we can enable remote patient monitoring. So that patients who have congestive heart failure, who have arrhythmias, can have data access, can have ability to capture data even when they're at home, even when they're outside of the clinical setting, and giving physicians access to that data in real time. So the physicians get to have a comprehensive picture of how that patient's heart is functioning, even when they're outside the clinical system. And fundamentally, we believe that it's crazy that patients who are at home, the standard of care for monitoring congestive heart failure patients right now is the bathroom scale, as crazy as that sounds. For congestive heart failure patients, we tell patients to stand on the scale, weigh themselves every day, and look for weight gain. Because if you gain a certain number of pounds, typically about 5 pounds in 1 week, that indicates that fluid is accumulating in your body, and that fluid is accumulating because your heart can no longer effectively pump enough fluid to enable the circulatory system and the renal system to function. And it's a terrible indicator. By the time the patients are gaining weight, by the time where that fluid is accumulating in the patient's chest or in the patient's body, that's a very, very dire prognosis for that patient. So we're very excited to be able to build cardiac monitoring technology with AI that can help physicians better monitor those patients outside of the clinical system. We're also excited about fantastic opportunities in heart murmurs. So this is some of our most recent clinical study data. We launched a study with an academic medical institution to compare how our AI compares to pediatric cardiologists at murmur detection using an acoustic stethoscope. And we're really excited to show that our AI was able to be better than or equal to 4 out of 5 pediatric cardiologists. Our AI has been trained on about 100,000 plus heart sound recordings that we've captured from a network of thousands of clinicians around the world. And we're excited to announce that our devices are used by over 10,000 clinicians in over 20 countries with both FDA and CE clearance. But fundamentally, what's most important to us is the ability to enable physicians and patients to better understand how our hearts are functioning. We think it's crucial that in the 21st century, healthcare solutions need to enable the sickest patients to have the best access to their clinicians. Thanks so much.
Hi, my name is Wendy Leonard, and I'm the Executive Director of the Ihangane Project. We are achieving lasting improvements in health outcomes in Rwanda, particularly among mothers and children, by promoting local innovation within the existing national health system. Together with frontline healthcare workers, we are bridging the gap between national policy and local reality that get in the way of achieving our national health goal, or our health goals. Today, I'm here to share with you eHeza, Rwanda's first point-of-care digital health record that is also wearable. And I'd like to introduce you today to Go to Leave and Odette. This relationship between healthcare workers and mothers is an essential part of successful healthcare delivery. At its best, it builds trust, it encourages return visits, and it inspires healthy behavior change. Unfortunately, these images reflect the reality far too common in health centers around the globe. You can see Go to Leave, who is a nurse. She is being pulled in many different directions. What you can't see are the 50 women who've walked hours with their children to see Go to Leave today. To save time, Go to Leave will often check each weight at a time and then repeat the process and check every child's height. She'll document everything in paper records, and she often doesn't have time to make the calculations needed to accurately diagnose malnutrition for several days after the health assessment. This is Odette and her daughter Karina. They have waited hours to see Go to Leave. When they finally see her, Go to Leave estimates that Karina has moderate malnutrition. She tells Odette to breastfeed more often and come back in a month. Because Go to Leave was so busy, Odette didn't feel comfortable telling her that she couldn't breastfeed because she had a breast infection. So she goes home, comes back 1 month later, but this time, Karina is diagnosed with severe malnutrition and she requires a hospitalization for 5 weeks. eHeza is designed to solve these challenges. Imagine instead that Go to Leave had a tablet that she wore around her neck. When she entered measurements, she could see Karina's nutrition status, and she could even compare today's weight against last month's weight. A progress report would show all of the previous nutrition measurements, color-coded by nutrition status, and real-time data trends would allow her to tailor her health education specifically to Odette and Karina's needs. Go to Leave could toggle between individual and group health assessments, and in this situation, she's decided to do all of the weights at the same time. So she will first enter Habimana's weight and enter it, and then she'll measure Karina, enter that information, and those measurements will immediately go into the children's records. When the health assessment is completed and internet is available, she can push upload, and it immediately goes to the Rwanda Ministry of Health. eHESA Digital Health Record is designed by and for nurses and mothers to support their workflows. It inspires healthy behavior change through the use of data trends. Progressive web app technology allows nurses to work offline, and it delivers reliable and timely data to the Rwanda Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health sees eHESA as a key strategy in its fight against childhood malnutrition, and they have asked us to scale eHESA throughout the country by 2020. In doing so, we will improve the quality of care to 12,000 mothers and children this year, 110,000 next year, and 480,000 mothers and children by 2020, and then every year after that. eHESA is designed with key features specifically to scale through ministries of health around the globe. It's designed with gold standard clinical care protocols established by the World Health Organization. It links to DHIS2, which is the database used by the Rwanda Ministry of Health, the same database used by over 60 countries around the world. And any number of new modules can be added to address other chronic care conditions such as diabetes, HIV, or heart disease. So we invite you to partner with the Ihangane Project to spread eHESA around the globe. It has great potential for impact and scale, and it is a revolutionary approach that combines local ingenuity with national strategy to achieve our global health goals by giving the tools to healthcare workers and mothers like Odette and Go to Leave that they need to thrive. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Daniel Belker. I'm Director of Technology for Not Impossible Labs. So Not Impossible Labs is a company that for many years has been working to create technology for the sake of humanity. So we created solutions, open source solutions for people with many issues, such as people with Lou Gehrig's disease, amputated limbs in war zones, and you can find our stuff online. I'm here today to talk about our Vibro Health, which is going to be our first product to reach the market. We're going to have our pre-product by July 5th. It's a couple of days away. Right now, we have this prototype here it's just a regular wristband that we have 2 wristbands and 2 ankle bands. And in order to talk about the Vibro Health device, I have to go a little bit back and talk about music. So Mick Abelin, the CEO and founder of Not Impossible Labs, had this idea of helping the deaf to have a better live music experience. So Dave Putrino, the head of the Rehabilitation Innovation Lab at Mount Sinai, he started to looking for someone. They found me, and then I started to research. And after 1 year and 6 prototypes, actually, I got to a reasonable solution for the deaf to experience live music. And then we started thinking about vibrations being applied for health. We did a bunch of tests in the the Not Impossible headquarters in LA, which were quite interesting about heart rate alterations using the vibration. So Patty Helen helped me out we have something in common with the previous project because this was our first prototype, also designed by Oscar de la Renta, as you can see, very beautiful and polished, but not. Yeah. So this was our first prototype, and then we started looking to health approach for vibration. And one day, David's friend came to him and said, "Listen, my father has Parkinson's, and I have been seeing things online and about vibrations applied to Parkinson's. Would you like to try something?" And he said yes. So I created a specific device for him, a new software that he could control. And then we got to this, right? We took to him. He had like very serious tremors, right? Look how hard it is for him to touch his fingers right now, right? And he's a pianist, so it was especially tough for him not be able to play again, right? And then we started the vibrations, and look, the tremors are completely gone. So this was like very impressive. Obviously, he can move his hand quite easy now. So we got into Mount Sinai and started our pilot trials, right? So it was as a pilot trial, we needed to more raise the appropriate questions, as many of you might know. And we ended up with a few interesting results because across the population, we didn't have the results with tremors that we expected. But I kept going to patients' house by invitation. At that point, we knew the devices were safe, so I could test and go to their homes. And we started to see a bunch of very interesting results, like changes in balance, in walking, in general wellness, like a sensation of, they say, freedom and lightness, better posture, dyskinesia, which is the involuntary movements. It's a symptom they have, actually the one that Michael J. Fox has, right? If you see his arms moving like this. So this is dyskinesia. So we went through the pilot trials. The results were very interesting. We are now in the verge of going through our next round of trials where the patients will take the devices home. So this is a dyskinesia patient. You see, like how he shakes. And now you have to pay attention to his chest because this is not a picture. This is actually a video. He's completely free of dyskinesia. This was the first time he was free from dyskinesia in 9 years. He was very excited. This is another tremor patient, right? Very stable. So in general, it didn't work for everybody, for people that we didn't expect, so we have to investigate more. So our next steps, we partnered with Avnet. We create a phone app that can grab the data from the patients and create, so the patient can actually customize its own treatment, creating different patterns, changing frequency and amplitude, so they can research their own body and understand how it works, so how they can have better benefits from the technology. So that's it. Thank you very much.
I'm a little shorter. Where's the clicker? Sabotage. So my name is Steve Zhu. I'm the Chief Medical Officer of Wearify, and we're developing UV Sense, the next generation wireless, battery-free wearable to measure sunlight. So we're very excited to be in beautiful Aspen. So I'm a dermatologist. So what that means is one thing, is that I have no idea how to use Connor's device. And the second thing is I think measuring UV is really, really important. So ultraviolet radiation is the primary driver of the most common malignancy in humans, which are skin cancers. 1 in 5 individuals in America will have skin cancer by the age of 70. And every hour, someone will die of melanoma, a deadly form of skin cancer. Now, the youngest patient I've seen from a UV-induced skin cancer was 21 years of age. So it's important to measure this. Now, sunlight, unfortunately, is really, really complex. There's a lot of components. Those components have differential effects on our skin health, and they appear at different amounts that change throughout the day. So think about how we have to measure all these different components of sunlight to give you a sense of how well your skin's responding. So UVC is highly carcinogenic and fortunately blocked by ozone. UVB is 1,000 times more erythrogenic or causes redness in your skin compared to UVA. UVA is what underlies photoaging and wrinkles. In visible light and infrared, there's emerging data that they affect skin health as well. So we're proud to introduce UV Sense, the world's only battery-free wearable. It's battery-free, so you don't need a cable, doesn't need one. Your smartphone both powers and scans the device. It's small. It's less than 8 millimeters in size, so it can fit on your fingernail pretty much anywhere. And it has multimodal sensing. It measures all the different parameters of sunlight, from UVB to UVA to visible light to infrared, giving you a comprehensive picture about how sunlight is affecting your skin health. And for this small form factor and all this sort of battery-free operation, you don't sacrifice accuracy. It's equivalent in measurement to gold standard radiometers that are tens of thousands of dollars. Now, I think all of us probably have some Fitbits in our drawers with cables that have never seen the light of day. And that's right, current wearables, they have high user burden. You gotta charge them every day. They're not particularly useful, they're uncomfortable, and they're expensive. We at Wearify see the next generation of wearables that are zero burden. It gets you information when you want it. It's useful, it's body integrated, and it's so cheap that they're disposable. You can see it clipped onto your jewelry, onto your sunglass, or directly on your skin. Now, it works pretty simple. So I have a sensor right now in my hand. You probably can't see it that well because it's 8 millimeters in size. And the way it works is pretty simple. All you got to do is scan. The phone charges and powers the sensor and then displays information that's relevant to you. You add in data such as what sunscreen you're using. You ask what kind of activities that you're undergoing, and then you know when to get out of the sun, when to stay safe, when to seek shade. So you scan, you personalize, and you know. Now, we've gotten great positive feedback from both beauty magazines as well as tech magazine periodicals, so we're excited about that. But beyond the consumer applications, we're really passionate about clinical medicine. Melanoma survivors, there's more than 1 million in America, and they're at 9 times greater risk of developing a second melanoma. So keeping them safe is a big part of what we do. So we've partnered with the National Cancer Institute to deploy our sensors for melanoma survivors. Now, we see a future where UV Sense, which is going to be available later this summer from your local friendly dermatologist, as just the first step. We envision a world of ubiquitous, battery-free, disposable, integrated sensors that do a wide variety of things, from temperature to measure fever continuously, to pressure for our elderly patients that may be at risk for bed sores, skin hydration to know when you should moisturize before you get eczema. It also can measure vital signs, heart rate, pulse oximetry. It can securely store your health data. So imagine a sensor on your fingernail that can tell you what allergies you have, what medicines you take, how you want to be cared for at the end of life. And then finally, you can securely store your credit card information. You don't need your phone, you don't need your Visa card, you just need your fingernail, so you can tap and scan as well. We're a team that's unabashedly nerdy. We're both scientists and engineers and doctors. They're very passionate about ubiquitous disposable sensors to improve healthcare and life for an entire spectrum of both consumers and patients. So please come out, visit us at our little table, try one on, play around with it. Looking forward to talking to you. Thanks.
And I guess the word is wow. And this is why I'm a tech geek, because these guys are doing fabulous things. And here at the Consumer Technology Showcase, what we've seen are devices that can help people get through difficult treatment. They can keep patients' dignity when they're in a hospital. They can detect health conditions. They can improve remote treatments in remote locations. They can give people back simple functions that a lot of us take for granted. And they can keep us safe in situations where we don't often think about that. Afterwards, they're all going to be outside so you can touch, feel, play with these things, talk to the innovators. 2 thanks. 1, for these geniuses here that come up with these products that help make us healthier and keep us safer as time goes on. Keep doing what you're doing. And number 2, all of you for being here to listen to this and to pass it forward. Thank you very much.